Did you always believe that Christopher Columbus was the man who discovered America in 1492? If that's the case, then it means no people populated America. But the truth is, various indigenous people had been living in America for thousands of years before Christopher Columbus arrived. That's when the story Europe tells, everyone starts to tremble. If Columbus was the first man to land in America, what about the people already living there? This cannot be called a discovery, but a continent knowing about something it did not know earlier. But we wonder who were the indigenous people already living in the land we call America. It's because they were the ones who discovered America for the very first time. But were they Black Africans? Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories and the events defining it. In this episode, we will reveal whether Black Africans were the ones who discovered America way before Columbus did. Let's get started. Throughout history, the story of Christopher Columbus as the daring explorer who discovered the Americas has been deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. However, increasing evidence suggests that this widely accepted historical account is overly simplistic. In fact, there is compelling evidence indicating that Columbus was likely not the first non-Native American to set foot in the Americas. In the late 15th century, Europe was seized by a passion for exploration, fueled by the desire to find new trade routes to the east and the quest for wealth and power that drove the ambitions of many European nations. Existing routes to Asia were lengthy and difficult, prompting explorers to seek alternative paths to access the valuable resources of the East. It was this time when Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, nurtured a dream of reaching Asia by sailing westward across the Atlantic. Inspired by his own geographical knowledge and theories proposed by various scholars, Columbus believed that the Earth was smaller than commonly believed. He was convinced that by sailing west, he could directly reach the eastern coast of Asia, bypassing established trade routes. However, his quest for a direct route to Asia ultimately led him to the Americas. After a lengthy and challenging voyage on October 12, 1492, Columbus and his crew sighted land now known to be one of the islands in the Bahamas. This significant event marked the first direct contact between Europe and the Americas, and Columbus earned the reputation of being the man who discovered the New World. However, this narrative is far from the truth. In fact, Columbus was one of the last known explorers to discover America, as Africans had already explored the land hundreds of years before he embarked on his journey. However, it's true that he was the first European to land in America. Since Europe liked to think of itself as the world, a flawed narrative that a European first discovered America was created. Contrary to popular belief, the presence of Black people in America might not be solely tied to slavery. However, some individuals hold the belief that Africans couldn't have discovered America before Columbus due to perceived limitations in intelligence and technology. This perspective is rooted in deeply ingrained stereotypes and prejudices that historically aim to undermine the achievements and capabilities of African civilizations. A commonly cited reason supporting the belief that Africans lacked the capability to explore and navigate the seas is the perceived absence of advanced shipbuilding technology. Critics argue that African societies did not possess the knowledge or resources to construct seafaring vessels suitable for transatlantic travel. This assumption overlooks the rich maritime traditions found in various African regions, including advanced shipbuilding skills demonstrated by cultures like the Phoenicians and Carthaginians, who had significant African influences. Modern attempts have shown that ancient African boats, even without advanced rudders or sails, could have crossed the vast ocean in a matter of weeks. A notable example is the Portuguese encounters with African boats, known as dugout canoes, during the 15th century, providing valuable insights into the capabilities of African maritime technology. Another argument against Africans' abilities is the perceived absence of navigational and astronomical knowledge among African civilizations. Some claim that Africans lacked the ability to accurately chart their courses, using stellar navigation techniques, or develop sophisticated navigational instruments. However, this assertion disregards evidence of African society's understanding of celestial bodies, such as the Dogon people's complicated knowledge of the Sirius star system. It also overlooks the sophisticated trade, networks connecting African cultures across vast distances, suggesting navigational prowess. Evidence shows that West Africans sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americas at least 180 years before Christopher Columbus. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. That's when you have to know about Mansa Abu Bakr II, king of the ancient kingdom of Mali in West Africa. He reigned from 1307 to 1311, when the Mali Empire was at the height of its power and wealth, spanning modern-day Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, and parts of Mauritania. The empire's economic prosperity rested on the immense wealth derived from the gold and salt trade, making Mali one of the richest empires of its time. Mansa Abu Bakr II's quest for knowledge and adventure drove him to explore the uncharted waters of the Atlantic Ocean. In 1311, he sent men with enough provisions to last for years on 200 ships to explore the limits of the ocean. He instructed them not to return until they discovered what lay beyond the Atlantic Ocean. Legend has it that only one ship managed to return. When asked about the journey, the captain recounted traveling for an extended period, navigating through an open sea with a powerful current. The other ships pressed forward, but they vanished without a trace upon reaching that location. As for the captain, he circled around it once but chose not to enter the river. Undeterred, Abu Bakr decided to assemble more ships, providing them with provisions such as food, water, livestock, gold, and other necessities. He abdicated the throne to his brother Mansa Musa and embarked on the exploration himself. However, they seemingly never returned. This raises the question, did they ever reach the Americas? The answer seems to be yes upon examining the evidence that modern historians, archaeologists, and researchers are uncovering. Today, we have evidence and sources supporting this theory. Leo Weiner, a Hungarian-American historian and linguist, significantly contributed to our understanding of pre-Columbian contact between Africans and the Americas. His research highlighted the possibility that Africans had reached the Americas before Christopher Columbus, drawing evidence from Columbus's own accounts. According to Weiner's book, Africa and the Discovery of America, Columbus noted in his journal that Native Americans confirmed encounters with black-skinned people from the southeast in boats, engaging in gold trade with tipped spears. The Native Americans described the spearheads as guanin, meaning gold in the Mandinka language spoken in the Mali Empire. Columbus frequently observed the abundance of gold among the natives. In West Africa, societies like Ghana, Mali, and Songhai were renowned for their gold production and trading networks. The rulers and elites adorned themselves with gold jewelry as symbols of power and social status. When Columbus encountered the indigenous peoples of the Americas, he witnessed the use of gold nose rings, earrings, pendants, and other jewelry types resembling West African gold adornments. Although Columbus didn't explicitly connect the gold jewelry of the indigenous peoples with that of West Africa, historians like Leo Weiner used this observation to argue for potential trade networks or cultural exchanges between African and indigenous American populations before Columbus's arrival. Upon arriving in America, Columbus also reported seeing structures resembling mosques, suggesting a connection with the Muslim people from the Kingdom of Mali, who might have constructed these mosques. While Christopher Columbus's accounts provide valuable insights, they don't stand alone as evidence suggesting that Africans may have visited the Americas before his voyages. A particularly compelling piece of evidence is the Olmec civilization, thriving in what is now Mexico around 1200 BCE. This civilization left behind a rich legacy of art and architecture, including remarkable artifacts that fuel speculation about the possibility of an African presence in the Americas predating Columbus. Among the iconic artifacts associated with the Olmec civilization are the colossal heads and monumental stone sculptures depicting human faces. These heads, ranging from approximately 5 to 11 feet in height and weighing several tons, showcase intricate details and are believed to represent Olmec rulers or high-ranking individuals. The first Olmec head, Tres Zapotes Colossal, was unearthed by archaeologist Matthew Sterling in 1938, with 16 others subsequently discovered, contributing to the intriguing narrative. These heads exhibit physical characteristics resembling African features, such as broad noses, prominent lips, distinctive facial structures and what some interpret as African-like facial expressions. His suggests the possibility that people of African descent inhabited the Americas centuries before Columbus's voyage, and these characteristics should not be dismissed as mere coincidences. However, recognizing African resemblances in ancient artifacts or historical contexts often encounters systemic bias, undermining the significance of Africa's contributions to global history. African civilizations, with their rich cultures and accomplishments, have frequently been marginalized and overshadowed by Eurocentric narratives. This erasure perpetuates a distorted view of history that fails to acknowledge the interconnectedness and contributions of African people to world civilizations. Despite efforts by European scholars to manipulate the truth and rewrite history, the evidence consistently indicates early African influence preceding Columbus's journey. The study of early American religions reveals intriguing similarities between certain aspects of African religions and indigenous beliefs in the Americas. One notable similarity lies in the concept of veneration of ancestors and the practice of ancestral worship. African religions often emphasize maintaining a connection with deceased ancestors, seeking their guidance and protection. Similarly, many indigenous American cultures have robust ancestral traditions, with rituals and ceremonies dedicated to honoring and communicating with their forebears. The significant focus on honoring ancestors implies potential cultural exchanges and influences between African and indigenous American societies. Evidence suggests that Africans might have journeyed to America long before Columbus, although this evidence is frequently disregarded or overlooked. Intriguing parallels emerge, ranging from the similarities between early American religions and African practices to Christopher Columbus's personal account, and the presence of Olmec heads sharing striking similarities with African facial features, all suggesting cultural exchanges and influences. Ancient African civilizations like the Egyptian, Nubian, and Aksumite kingdoms were hubs of intellectual and cultural advancements. These societies developed complex political systems, constructed monumental structures, and made substantial contributions to fields like mathematics, architecture, and medicine. Furthermore, medieval empires like Songhai, Ghana, Mali, and Benin possessed the capabilities to undertake voyages to the Americas, debunking the misconception that Africans lacked the necessary shipping technology and navigation systems. These empires were renowned for sophisticated trade networks and maritime expertise, allowing navigation across extensive stretches of the Atlantic Ocean. For instance, the Songhai Empire controlled trans-Saharan trade routes, engaging in long-distance trade and navigation. All evidence underscores Africans' sophistication in attempting to discover lands beyond their shores. Therefore, contrary to what Europe advocates, Africans were the first to discover and inhabit America thousands of years before Columbus reached it. Isn't it true that the history the world is reading has been written under the influence of Europeans? What more might be the biggest lies that Europe has told and been telling for centuries? In the comment section right below, let us know your thoughts on whether you earlier believed Columbus discovered America. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.